the Millionaire Imprint for Women. This new radio show is about imprinting wealth for women, inspiring women of all ages to heal their karmic debts, to transcend the shame of poverty consciousness that women have lived with for centuries. It's time for women, for you, to have a new relationship with money, to radiate wealth from the inside out. We are creating a ripple effect, empowering millions of women to claim their inner wealth. Join Kornelia on the Kornelia Stephanie Show at Transformation Talk Radio. Are you in? Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, the Millionaire Imprint for Women. I am with my very special co-host today, Ahana and Daniel. Daniel is not with us, but they are my team from Rise and Be Rich. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kornelia.
It's wonderful to have you. It's great to be here with you because you are broadcasting from Australia. And as I told you before we got on the show, is that presently I'm in Hawaii. So it's amazing what we can do with technology. We're still able to do our business. We're still able to inspire and empower, the audience with all this amazing content. And I want to tell everybody today, you and Daniel are the ones that create the content for the show. And today's show, the content you're created is about switch on the money and abundance vibration. Most of the time, business owners don't realize their switch for money and abundance is switched off. When that happens, the experience of it is a constant struggle with projects, finding leads and clients, and the inability to take the right decisions to take the business forward fast. It also increases stress and overwhelm. And it's difficult to find the right answers to your challenges when you're in stress. So on today's show, in this segment, we want to switch on our money and abundance vibration. How do we do that, Ahana?
So we are actually going to share 7 steps to amplify abundance. And because 2020 is coming around, we just around the corner, and there are a lot of people who are sort of in the process of planning the next year. So I thought it would be really good because Daniel and we are doing this for ourselves, and is to kind of map out these 7 steps to amplify abundance.
Wonderful. So, and everything that you, like you just said, what you and Daniel are doing, you're doing it for yourself.
Yeah,
and so we're going to cover these 7 steps today. So thank you so much for sharing those. And so what do you mean exactly when you're talking about your money and abundance switch?
Well, that's a great question. This is one of the reasons why we called our, coaching side of the business Rise and Be Rich, because what happens with most people is that they kind of separate spirituality and personal growth from business building and making money. But the truth is that, you grow in proportionately to who you are to what money you make. So it's actually who you are determines what kind of abundance or opportunities that you can pull in your life and in your business. So your that little switch that you have is actually within you. So you can either, if it's activated, it helps you move powerfully and quickly towards your goals. And if it's deactivated, you're in that mindset and that space of constant struggle, whether it's in a job or a business, it's in that space of constant struggle. So many business owners, they come into business with that money and abundance switch turned off. So basically what that means is that if you look at the leaders in your niche, when you look at the way they act, the way they make decisions, the way they, their daily actions and the daily thought processes, it's really different. So that's actually because their switch is turned on. So it's essentially a state of consciousness. And it's not easy for a lot of people to do because, they've not experienced it yet, and it's a process. But the fact is, when you understand that it's a switch, and you can then first, number one, switch it on, and then second, learn how to stay activated, switched on, and grow into that state of consciousness.
So what would be the first step into switching that on?
The biggest one is actually awareness. We have to start with awareness. So awareness, it's kind of like when we talk about awareness, for a lot of people, it's kind of an open-ended term, but it basically means knowing the difference between what's keeping us stuck and what will set us free. So let me give you an example. In one of the jobs I was working on, I would go to work every morning to a room full of people who were doing the job not out of some happiness or creativity or enjoyment, but money at the end of, in Australia we get weekly, so money at the end of the week. So I had a chance to spend some time with my colleagues, and they would complain about being unhappy with the manager, not happy with what they were getting paid, not happy with the direct or lack of direction or strategy within their team, lack of guidance for the leaders. And yet they never talked about what was this other option that they had, a second option, something that they could love, something that they could build, and something that they could monetize. So it is too far away from that state of consciousness to think about it. For them, it was too far away, although they were highly skilled and they were making a lot of money for the company. So the best option that they could ever think of was, okay, I'm going to start, think of changing a job. But what is to say if you change your job and you're not in that state of consciousness, that you're not going to have a repetition of the same experience in another job. So bottom line is that you have to be aware that there is a choice. And the switch comes into place when you ask two very important questions. So I'll give these two to you because we use it all the time. The first question is, what would be a purposeful way for me to earn a living? Anything other than that will not fulfill your sole purpose. So it's a connect with that. What would be a purposeful way for me to earn a living? And then how do I monetize it in a way that it meets my life and lifestyle goals, not just the financial goals? So these two questions really help turn on that switch.
Keep talking because I'm about to cough. So keep okay. talking. Keep talking.
All right. So, basically once, when you get those answers, the rest of the journey actually becomes easier to figure out. But you have to arrive at those answers first. That's when that activation happens. But just by reaching those answers, actually, you just switch on, activate that abundance and money switch.
Yes. And I love, you said a key word. You said the key word, and that is choose. Choose. So, we have to choose. And so today, ladies and gentlemen, I invite all of you right now to choose, to make that choice, to switch on your money switch, to switch on your money and abundance switch and turn it on by making that choice. And I love those two questions. What was the two questions again, Ahana?
The first one was, what would be a purposeful way for me to earn a living? And connect with that sole purpose. And the second is, how do I monetize it in a way that it meets my life and lifestyle goals along with my financial goals?
Yes.
So,
and so you and Daniel are using this in your business now?
We ask this at pretty much like 3 times in the year, because you always have to be aligned. If you're doing something, if you're planning strategically, whether it's your marketing, whether it's taking your business to the next level, and you're planning this, you have to be really aligned to that purpose and the way you want to grow your business. So and especially now, if you are moving into the new year and you're planning the next phase of your business, or you're thinking, oh, I'm going to get into XYZ, it's really important to, even if you're in a job, these two questions work.
I love that. Yeah. And especially nowadays, because most of us are really here to fulfill our soul's purpose, to fulfill our soul's mission, and to be able to ask that question really helps you do that. So how can we plan to bring more abundance in our daily lives? How can we actually make a plan to do that?
So, we are talking mostly here to, entrepreneurs and some people who are moving from corporate to entrepreneurship. So once you ask those questions and you're activated, the way you do this is you have to position yourself for abundance. So like everything, you have to have a plan to amplify your abundance. You can't just do it randomly. You can't just think it and not put an action plan. So the plan, though, has to have three components. The first one is the financial aspects of the plan. You have to have that mapped out. So how do you reach your financial goals? But what most people do is they have this number and they just put this number on a paper and see how we can reach it. But if you can just split that up, that financial plan, into what you need versus what you want. So what you need is what you need to make sort of monthly in order for your life to move smoothly, for you to make the transition smoothly. So even if you're moving from a corporate job to a full-time self-employed or your own business, you need to know what is that number that you need. Once you have a plan to meet the need, then you can go into, this is what I want, and then you feel excited, you feel that freedom, and then you can map a scaling strategy. So that's the first thing, which is financial aspect. The second part of it is, once you know the numbers, then you have to start looking for the opportunities that will lead you to those milestones, the need milestones, and then start moving into the want milestones. So this is an exploration that you have to do, and it has to be part of your plan. And it's best done actually with a coach or a mentor, because not every business or career model can, meet those needs and wants. So it's sort of, you have to choose very carefully the business models and the strategies that you're going to use. And then finally, you also need to have a personal growth plan. Your mindset, your skill set, your personal leadership, that has to rise in proportionate to the plan that you're making. So with these three factors, you can really create or position yourself towards high growth, abundance, and reaching those goals.
And I know that you and Daniel help many entrepreneurs and many coaches, many people out there in the business world with helping them put these plans in place, right?
Yep.
So why don't we tell the audience where they can right away, where they can get more information with contacting you, and because it's so important to have a coach. It's really, really important to have a coach. I mean, that's you have an accountability partner, somebody that really helps you organize and put it all in place, right?
Yeah. Well, we actually offered this opportunity on our first show, if you remember, and we had some signups on that, but we couldn't take, we couldn't take as many. So we'll do it again, which is a business mapping session, which combines the big picture of where your business is going or where you want to take your life, or what are those financial plans that you want to make, what your milestones are. And then we take, along with that big picture thinking, we will also start putting down a roadmap for the next 6 to 12 months. So you can get this 100% free, this business mapping session, at www.ahanalara.com/consultation/booked. So I'll just repeat that. It's www.ahanalara.com/consultation/booked.
And what we want to do is we're going to put that link for you when you're watching this replay later. If you're seeing it on YouTube, we're going to put the link for you in case you're driving now and you're listening to it and you can't take this down. It's going to be on the replay on the YouTube video, and you can grab it there. So thank you for that, because that map, I know there were the people that signed up and took those consultations, those free consultations, were definitely really, really excited about what they were creating, what their future and what they were looking forward to. So, okay, so we're activating our abundance and money switch. And then once we're activated, what can we do next, and how do we position ourselves for abundance?
So, the first step we talked about was activating the abundance. Step 2, we talked about amplifying it. So step 3 is about how do you start putting a plan of action. So there are 2 places from where you can take an action. You can take it either from the consciousness of struggle, where you're thinking of, oh my goodness, how will I get this work done? Will I succeed? Will I fail? And all of that other stuff. And then there is that creative abundance space. So it's when you have an idea and you get really excited about it, you have to plan from that space. So now for most people, they are so bogged down in the day-to-day struggle, they can't switch that state on. So before we create an action plan, we have to get that third step right, which is getting into that, open yourself up to those possibilities. So step 3 is to craft a plan with a coach or a mentor to get into some kind of a program or some kind of learning that will open your mind and habits into that abundant, creative, big thinking space. We do it all the time. Our clients do it. We have immersions all the time. So many entrepreneurs spend the least amount of time, money, and effort in this step. They're not open to doing this, to sitting down and getting into that immersion, is really doing that big picture thinking. So without this, though, there is no way to exponentially grow your business. You'll grow it in little steps, but you have to invest in this in order to grow abundantly. So in Rise and Be Rich, we have few options, as I mentioned. In fact, we do these short sessions that I just mentioned earlier, that the little session that we can do with you. But the idea there is to open yourself up to this big picture and then create your strategic and sort of, the big picture is your strategy. Your small steps are your strategy and tactical plan. So those are your little steps to actually meet those milestones on your road. So the planning is really important. And I know that a lot of people say, okay, create goals at the beginning of the year. And then, half of them will sort of follow through for the next 3 months, and then the goals are gone. But if you have this plan, the big picture, and then the small tactical plan, you'll actually get a lot of stuff done, and very, very quickly. Before you know it, you're hitting those milestones. So that's really the third step.
Wonderful. Well, I definitely want to encourage everybody to sign up. Why don't you, or make contact with you? Why don't you give us that link again, where people can find out more about this map session and, have the opportunity to work with you and Daniel one-on-one?
So it's going to be around 45 to 60 minute session. It's actually a coaching session. We'll map out the big picture business map to that tactical plan, and you can just apply. There's an application form there with www.ahanalara.com/consultation/booked. There's a referral section there. Just mention that this is the show that from the Kornelia Stephanie Show, Millionaire Imprints Show, and we will honor that as 100% free consultation.
Wonderful. So tell me, what is it that you're excited about as far as the 2020 new beginning, a brand new decade? What are you excited about this whole new beginning?
It's a very interesting time, actually, because I've been doing this work with entrepreneurs for the last 5 years. We've been building businesses at different levels, people who are just starting to people who are making 7 figures. So we've been working with them at the level of strategy. We've been working with them at the level of marketing, and our marketing agency works with them to sort of create the whole. It actually takes on the entire marketing for the whole year. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is the way things have moved around in this world in terms of systems and strategies and what's happening with the marketing, that you can move really fast and get rid of things that are not working in your business really fast and really move towards what you want to achieve very fast because of what's available to us. We are in a really abundant state in terms of, not just what's available to us in terms of systems and technology, but also in terms of knowledge and what's available in the market. We are in a really great place. But if you don't use it, if you're still stuck in that mindset of sort of lack and things are not working out, you just have to shift that. That's why, this episode is so important. If you just switch that on, it is incredible. The opportunities are incredible. You just have to trust and jump into those opportunities and create that speed in your business. So I'm really excited about that, because we are looking at a lot of entrepreneurs ready to take that leap, which, a lot of entrepreneurs the year before that, they were a lot more cautious. But I'm really excited because the what's available to you right now can really change your life in 6 to 12 months, very, very fast. So that's what I'm really sort of excited about for 2020 for all our clients and for ourselves as well.
Yes, that's beautiful. It's a beautiful way to describe all of that because of the expansion and evolution that's taking place for all of us. And we know that being an entrepreneur, it's hard work. Just like in the hotel where I am right now, I have been here now for, I want to say, the last week. And every morning I'm down in the lobby and I'm working on my business. And just this morning, one of the ladies at the front desk said to me, "My goodness, you're here in Hawaii. You're working too hard. I see you down here every day working in the lobby because I am dedicated and committed to my business, working on my projects, and it takes a tenacity and a commitment to keep showing up. And even though, I do get my playtime in too, but when you're an entrepreneur, people think that, oh, you don't have to work that hard or you don't have to put your time in. And actually, it's the opposite, the other way around, because I know what my vision is. I know what my goal is. I know where I'm going. And so that requires that consistent input,
Yeah.
and focus. So
Yeah, it's one of the things that you're mentioning. I mean, that happens to me a lot, where people say, "Oh, you're working so hard, and why are you working so hard?" But I think I just want to, that's why this abundance switch question, it's incredible, because when you are in that excitement of things just happen, and you're no longer looking at it as work, and that uh, Richard Branson says that, there's no work or there's no play. It's just an integrative approach to life. So when you're doing something that you truly love and you're passionate about, and it gives you great joy, it's just as, great as, as doing any other activity. So, that brings you joy. So it's not hard work, but it's a commitment. It's an alignment. It's getting to meet with that purpose and switching that excitement in you, and that's what is drawing those opportunities to you all the time. And those opportunities can be fun opportunities. We get paid to fly somewhere, give a speak somewhere. We get paid to speak, we get paid to be, all our stay is taken care of, and we sell our products all at the same time. So we get a vacation fully paid, and that happens several times a year. So it you know that's work and fun all mixed together. So
that's
yes.
actually what's happening to me right
Yeah.
now. That's actually exactly that. It's exactly that. And it's exactly what you said with it's not work, it's not play. When you're really loving what you do, it's it's a relationship. It's a
Yeah.
relationship, and how you show up in the relationship, how you nurture the relationship, how you show up in the relationship, whether it's your business, no matter what it is. For me, the way I do one thing is the way I do all things. And
Yeah.
so that's how it is. So why don't we take a break on the show, and then we'll be right back, and then we will continue on with learning the next steps to take. So let's take a break and we'll be right back.
Are you an entrepreneur who's struggling to be seen? Do you know deep in your gut that if you could just be seen and get your message out, that you'd easily reach your tribe? How wonderful would it be if a fairy godmother came along, waved her magic wand, and suddenly you were more than visible? You were dazzling. Would you sign up for that? Hi, I'm Deborah Lupien, spiritual teacher and international best-selling author of Akasha Unleashed, The Missing Manual to You. I'm here with the wonderful news that such a person actually exists. Her name is Kornelia Stephanie, and she's gifted at helping entrepreneurs become dazzling. I've watched her work her magic over and over to turn invisible entrepreneurs into dazzling stars who easily attract their ideal clients and have fun doing it. Not long ago, I was the recipient of her gift. As a guest on her show, Living Heaven on Earth, not only did we have fun, but Kornelia helped me get my message out to a wider audience, which resulted in a very nice spike of traffic to my website and more subscribers to my list. Did I mention it was incredibly easy? Kornelia is running a veritable media empire of uplifting programs. They cover a broad range of topics and have a large appreciative audience. That's a winning combination, folks. Guess what? Those shows need guests and hosts. Imagine, after guesting on a few shows, moving up to hosting your own popular show. That is absolutely possible for you. So now you have a decision to make. Are you going to keep struggling on your own, or are you going to sign up for some Kornelia Stephanie dazzling visibility magic? Email radio@korneliastephanie.com today.
Welcome back, everyone. And so it's all about those little steps that we take. Little action steps generate big, bold results. Right, Ahana?
Right. So we just talked about 3 little steps that can prepare you to open up to abundance. But now we're going to look at strategy. So in this segment, we'll talk about the action steps you need to take to amplify your abundance in 2020.
Great. And so what are those action steps? How do we do that? What are those action steps that we need to take to have a prosperous, abundant 2020?
All right. So step 4 and 5 are both about sort of creating and implementing action steps. So the first thing that you need to understand is there are 2 specific processes that you have to go through. When we talked about planning and positioning yourself and all of that, the first thing is for you to create a wealth plan. So wealth plan, you're creating long-term as well as short-term targets to meet on the way. Remember the want and the need. And many people don't have a plan that, that can grow your revenue step by step. So we need to actually have that plan. First, we're going to create revenues, then we're going to grow those revenues, then we're going to invest those the revenues to actually then exponentially grow wealth. So that's really how many of the top entrepreneurs do it. It's not just that they're making money out of their business, but they're actually taking that and reinvesting and growing it, more and more and more. So many small businesses struggle with cash flow. So the first goal is to remove that. The cash flow is basically the amount you make to the amount you spend. So if you're making a certain amount and your bills and your taxes and all of that is either equal or more, then you don't have a cash flow. So you have very little or none left in the process. But when you plan this growth strategically, where your business needs to keep working through to then have that tip to start building those consistent profits. And then once you've got that formula right, you keep scaling your business. And once you scale your business, then you invest and you grow your wealth. So that's the wealth plan. So that's the first process. The second is, what are the projects that I need to do right now in order to build my wealth and abundance in those levels, right? Just first step, build the revenues. Second step, move through the cash flow and start making profits, then grow the profits. So what are the projects that I need to take? So all our action steps that we do in Rise and Be Rich, and it works beautifully. We do them in 90-day cycles. So every time we want to hit a small milestone, we do a 90-day cycle around it. Whether it's a marketing process or whether it's a branding process or whether it's a list boosting process, we just do it in 90 days. So we really focus on taking the right action in alignment to that wealth plan. And then we can measure our progress, make little changes, move on to the next step. So this is actually really, really crucial to do. So these are your action steps, and this is how you need to take them in order for them to actually start showing results for you along the way. So you're getting results of the journey, and then you're hitting those big markers as you go through your wealth plan, your strategy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I love the 90-day. I love the 90-day. The 90-day goal. I love working towards that and then tweaking whatever you need to tweak. I love being able to do that. So did you cover all of the things that you want to, you covered the kind of projects that can help amplify our wealth and abundance, right? And
I can talk a little bit about, when we talk about projects. So, when I'm saying that these 90-day cycles, what do you do in those 90-day cycles? basically, if you're a business that's starting, or if you've not really figured out, where the growth plan is, the scaling is, it's because you've not done your foundation. So this is a really important question. It's not what projects you do, but what's the strategy? How do you do them strategically to meet your goals? So let me give you an example. For example, if you focus on getting clients, right, your goal is to get clients, and you have learned a bunch of strategies and online and with other people and lead generation, and you're implementing them without positioning your business and positioning your offers correctly in the market, this is what could happen. You could get a whole bunch of clients, you can sign them up, but they won't be your ideal clients. So when you have these clients come in, they will probably, struggle with your content, maybe with the payment plans, could be struggling in terms of asking you too many questions because you haven't positioned your business correctly in the market in order to get your ideal clients coming through in your business. So again, once you have these people who might leave in the middle of it, you don't know. So now you can't plan your cash flow anymore. So when we're talking about projects, there's a step-by-step system. You have to do step 1 first before you do step 2, before you do step 3, before you do step 4. So your branding, your systems, your offers, your marketing, then your scaling strategies. So a lot of people, what they do is they start with the scaling strategies right away. I'm going to start doing lead generation without having positioned or branded themselves, created the systems in the back end, created offers that sell themselves. So these are processes that you need to plan before you can take that big jump. And this is where the trick is. If you can get if you can get the foundation right, you will just keep on building your building. Like it will keep on growing, even with minimal effort from you. But if your foundations are not right, you can do all these scaling strategies, lead gen strategies, and all kinds of things that you learn in the market, but they will not stick. So when we talk about these 90-day cycles of positioning yourself to abundance and then strategically growing, we're talking about first doing the foundational steps. Then you can start looking at, marketing steps to grow your business. Then you can look at the next steps of scaling your business. Then you can look at reinvesting and growing your wealth. So this is what I mean by the projects, that you grow them a step at a time.
Wonderful. Wow. That was a lot of information that was shared. Definitely you want to sit down with a pen and a paper and take notes and write some of these things down. But do you want to go over with us again and just cover the steps that we've taken so far? So all the way, I think we have one segment left, and then we'll be covering the last steps, but maybe you can give us, all the different steps. Step 1.
Yep. So what I could do is let me go through the steps for you.
Sure.
First step that we talked about was awareness, knowing the difference between what's keeping us stuck and what will set us free. So you must create something that is meaningful to you, whether it's a career or a business, and then learn how to monetize it. We talked about that first. And then once you have that awareness, you then need to position yourself, your career, your business for success and abundance. And so you have to start thinking in terms of, what do I need? What do I want? How can I create a plan around it? A financial plan, a business plan, which is kind of like a blueprint. And then how do I start building, planning a roadmap around it? So that was the second step. Then from there, the third step, which we said a lot of people miss, was planning from that creative abundance space. So a big picture thinking, so expand your thinking. And so think from that space, what do you really want this business to generate for you? Get really excited about the scope of your business. And this is best done, again, as I mentioned, with a mentor or a coach, because they have that perspective on how the business can grow. And then step 4 is to take that down and start creating your step-by-step wealth plan. Then once you've got that wealth plan, this is how I'm going to go. You start creating a roadmap, your action plan, which happens every 90-day cycles. So we talked a little bit about that. And then in those 90-day cycles, in your action plan is where you choose your projects. what projects am I going to do in which order? And you need to build all the foundational projects, all of the things that you need for your foundation for your business to grow before you jump into doing some marketing campaign or doing some lead generation or, taking on, even some kind of a show or doing a PR and stuff like that. So you have to build the foundation before you jump into, into trying to scale your business. So I think those are the steps we covered so far.
Yes. And even before that, the number one step is to make sure that you turn your switch on. And it was interesting because the visual that I got is just the light switch. So just walk over to the wall, and so that you can have a physical act with going, I'm turning my abundance switch on now. I'm turning my money switch on. I'm turning it on. I'm turning it on. And then flip it up. And then, boom, it's done. And it's the choice that you made. And definitely.
Yeah. And that happens with awareness. That step one, the two questions we ask, what's really purposeful to me? And then how do I monetize it in a way that it meets my lifestyle goals along with my financial goals? When you become aware of that, that's what it's literally like click. Yeah, it is literally that feeling. Oh, now I know. So now I can embark into this process, and then you go and get the right help in order for you to do so. You have to get the help. If you sit and think at home that, oh, how am I going to do this? I'm going to read 10 books. Doesn't really work. You actually need to go and take the action with it. That's when it actually starts working for you.
It helps so much to have a mentor. It helps so much to have a coach. It helps so much to have an accountability partner, and people that are already successful, that are already, working the systems, doing the processes. They already know how to do it. If you surround yourself with people that are already successful and that hold you accountable, this is what's going to happen for you, right?
Yeah. And it's something that I learned very early on, and I'm glad I learned it early. And that is that you save so much time and money by going and taking the help of a person who's been there, done that, and knows the way. Because otherwise you just waste years of your life trying to figure it out. And that has its cost. So yeah, it's something that I've learned, and I've always had mentors. I've got 3 right now. So we always have mentors in growing our business.
Yeah. And that's a good lesson to learn. Absolutely good lesson to learn early. So, wow, you've already given us so much information. Do you want to share one more time your link, the link that people will use to get in contact with you to get their free mapping session? And share the link. And then Ahana, might I also suggest that later on when we're sending out the replays, that with every replay that the link is right underneath all of it, so that people have easy access to it.
No, absolutely. It's really easy. It's my website, which is ahanalara.com, then /consultation/booked. And it's a simple form. And what it does is actually gives us an idea of your business, a snapshot. And so when we get on the call, we are ready and prepared to then use that 45 minutes to 60 minutes that we get with you to actually dive in and create that big picture and then small picture, sort of big picture thinking to your next steps. So the link again is ahanalara.com /consultation/booked.
Perfect. Well, let's take our last break. We'll be right back on the Kornelia Stephanie Show with Ahana, and we'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Charlene Hess, and I want to share with you my wonderful experience of choosing to use Kornelia Stephanie as my life coach. My life is so different now from where it was when I began working with her in 2011. At that time, I was in a dysfunctional marriage. I had my own business. I was raising 2 children and completely dead inside. After working with Kornelia, I began to gain confidence. I began to learn and understand how to use my emotions in my life. I learned how to process the emotions that were stored in my body, the ones that I thought that I had already worked through in my 12 years of counseling prior to working with her. The process that she had taken me through of using my emotions to heal my life, to use my anger to find peace, was absolutely incredible. I have been working with her one-on-one for many years now. And even though I am in a place now where I am thriving in my life, I still refer to Kornelia as my coach, and I still work with her on an ongoing basis where we're always checking in and keeping me accountable in my growth. After working with her for many years, I decided to go through her wholeness certification coaching program, and it has absolutely been an amazing process. I now am a certified empowerment coach, and I got certified through her program, and I am taking clients and helping them to find the empowerment in their lives. One of the things that I love about Kornelia is that she taught me that I am the authority in my own life. And that was a really difficult experience to go through because it was really fighting against all of the dogma and programming that was so ingrained in my brain that all of the authority is outside of me. But as I began to understand and believe and adopt and know the truth that I am the authority in my life, is when everything in my life started to shift and change. I became responsible for my decisions. I became responsible for creating a life that I love. And now I'm here in this amazing, beautiful place, living a life of so much happiness and joy. And no matter what life throws at me, I have the tools to be able to approach everything from a place of empowerment. And now I have the ability to help other people do the same. So working with Kornelia has absolutely been the best decision that I've ever made in my life. It has taken me from a life of absolute misery and given me the tools to be able to have a life of absolute, complete joy. So I cannot recommend working with her enough. I hope that you decide to choose to have her as your coach. Go through her empowerment coaching program, go through her wholeness certification, and I guarantee you won't regret it.
Welcome back. In this segment, we're going to find out how to amplify your efforts and how to amplify your revenues. And Ahana, she's going to talk about that.
So from, positioning and planning for abundance to creating projects that will bring you abundance in 2020. So we've covered 5 steps, Kornelia. So the next 2 steps, these are really important for amplified abundance. So, we've talked about the foundations, but this is kind of like expansion. So if you really want to exponentially grow your business, then these 2 are the keys to take your business to that level.
What 2 are the keys? What are the 2 keys to amplify our abundance? What are those?
Okay, so let's start with so I just wanted to frame it in a way that it's easy for people to understand. So everything that we've spoken about before this is about us as individuals, as business owners. It's about you, your personal and business growth, your shift in consciousness, you're creating a plan and embarking on projects and meeting the targets and things like that. However, when you want to exponentially grow your business, you have to move the focus from you to your customer. So Bill Gross, who is the founder of Idea Lab, he's a technology incubator, and he has this little quote, which I've got it on one of the quotes I have on my board is, customer is the true reality. Mm-hmm. The more you focus on your customers, the more your focus is to help thousands of people change their lives, solve their biggest needs and problems, the more you can amplify your abundance, because you now are providing, your value has just gone from, okay, I'm a coach, I'm just doing this is what I offer, to now starting to think in terms of amplification of what you can offer to the world and providing more value to the world. So that's the first concept. And there is a very easy way, once you are ready to scale, to create opportunities to impact massive groups of people. So there is a specific segment that we use in Rise and Be Rich, Kornelia. We call it the Signature Series, and we show how to take what you offer as like your core offers and how to sort of take that and really open it up. So now you can impact masses instead of just saying 20, 30, 50 clients in a year. So that's really one part of the key. The other part is, as you're opening this up, you have to be very aware that you need to have systems and accountability in your business. So what that means is that you have to build systems that can help you serve these thousands and thousands of people, but in a way that doesn't take up a lot of your time and resources. So you can run it in a small team, but you're able to give to a lot of people. And accountability is just a habit on staying on top of things and taking personal responsibility for each project to work. So between these two components, so your accountability as well as the systems, you're able to open up your business and really expand your business, but have it all done from, even if you have a home office. I mean, we've got our marketing agency is just a tiny office with a bunch of people, but we can run a massive big business because of this planning and this process. So these are the two keys for exponential growth.
Right. And to be able to identify what those keys are is really important, to identify the keys so that you can work on this next phase of the expansion, right? And that is really focusing on your customers, like you said.
Yeah. And the way you need to think of it is, first you've now switched on your own light, right?
Yes.
Now you kind of have to go and make sure that you switch on many other lights. So the value that you need to give to the world. So if you can go into masses, and again, as I mentioned, this is one of the processes we do, but not in the beginning. Once you've reached that stage where you're really comfortably having a good cash flow, then we can do this expansion. It takes a lot to handle, like, few thousand people coming on your website, or some of the summits we get 10,000 people sign up. It takes a lot to run that. So you need to learn how to manage or create and manage those systems, how to be accountable, what are the processes, how to make these projects work. So there is that part of the deal that you have to work on. But the thing is, the way you get that exponential growth started is you move from thinking about, I'm going to just do this one-on-one services, or so many people in my workshops, to now saying, I want to serve thousands of people. So shift the customer focus, and that exponential growth will, you can start planning for that exponential growth in your business.
Wonderful. So that again was another big, huge value of what you just shared about the two keys. So now, can you give us an overview of what you have shared, and what are the next steps that our audience can take today?
Right. So we've gone through the steps, which first was awareness, the 2 questions. Second was positioning your business for success and abundance. And we talked about that need, want, and planning around it. Then doing this big picture thinking, then doing your wealth plan, then choosing the project. And we started thinking about, okay, now we've done the projects with ourselves into this nice, consistent cash flow, which can literally happen within your next six months you've planned, right? And then how do I scale so we can look at serving more people at this time? So those were the steps. And your next step from there is to figure out, where exactly are you in your business? What is it that you're thinking? Where is it that you want to go next year? So a lot of people, I don't know where you could be in your business. Some people might be thinking, I'm in a job and I want to start a business. For them, the steps will come in a little different order, or think of it, if these 7 steps were a cycle, you would be doing it exponentially larger and larger cycles. So depend on which cycle you're in. That's where you need to start. So don't try to look at someone else's business or someone else's life and say, they've done it, I'm going to do it, and then I'll just replicate what they're doing. That is, that's not a good plan. That's going to make you really frustrated, because you won't be able to actually see the results coming through. So the way to do it is plan at exactly where you are. And a great way to start with that is to go into that kind of assessment, the little coaching session that we've offered. And if you can find that locally in your area, go for that. Figure out, what is it that your purpose is? What do you want to monetize? What's your financial plan? How do I map this out? Get that piece done. And you'll feel so much easier and so much better to then actually come up with your strategic and tactical plan after that. Because without that piece, you never feel fulfilled. It never really feels like, everything is coming together. It just is like this, sort of overwhelmed, frustrated feeling in your head. So get that piece first. Feel really good about it. Get really excited. Then plan your the rest of the roadmap for 2020. So that would be the very next step I would do. We are doing this for ourselves. That's why we're taking a break. We always take a break. We go to a beautiful resort and we sit and plan for next year. This is exactly what we do. So that would be a great place for you guys to start as well.
Wonderful. So you are getting ready to go on retreat? You're getting ready to go on this retreat?
We always do. We always take a few days off. We'll, sometimes we go into a retreat. Sometimes we've got beautiful places here, but basically we go outside of where we usually work, or, outside of the house, where we are just there and really having a good time. And we use that energy to create our next phase of growth.
Basically, you guys immerse yourself into the experience so that you can really be away from all the regular things, and then what else is next, what's new. Well, I'm really excited about what's going to come out of that, because 2020, brand new decade. Next time you come on, we're going to be in 2020, and next time we're going to have Daniel back with us. So yes. And so why don't we give everyone the link one more time and a few parting words.
So we're bringing our favorite business mapping consultation packs for folks who want to access it, that couldn't access it in the first episode. And we're doing this especially now because it's, as we are entering this new year, this is just our way of, it's our gift to you, because this process is pretty incredible, and it takes a bit of time, a bit of space to do it. So it's a high growth business mapping session, and apply it for 100% free at www.ahanalara.com/consultation/booked. And be excited about 2020. The opportunities that you have in the market, it's incredible. You just have to be open to it. You've got to trust, and you got to jump into this wave that we're all going through. It's just exponentially growing our lives and our business. So jump and take that risk on yourself.
Yes, jump and turn that switch on and choose and turn the switch on, choose and say yes. Thank you, everybody, for listening and for tuning in. Do take advantage of the beautiful offer that Ahana and Daniel provided, and we'll see you all next time with Rise and Be Rich. See you next time. Thanks, Ahana.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Janet Hickox, and I want to tell you a little story about a story, and how my friend Kornelia Stephanie helped me through to the other end of that story. I have gone from the dark of a story I was telling myself that wasn't true to the light of optimism to see my way out of where I was and to where I want to go. And it all started with her scheduling a session for me to help me reclaim my money or my financial empowerment. Up until that point, I had been telling the story that my business was dying, that my business was not successful anymore. And the more I tried to figure out what was going on, the worse I felt about it. And when I had to get ready to do the session with Kornelia, she asked me to go look at the numbers and where I was through the year to date. And then also to come prepared with a number that I wanted to raise my income to. Well, I was quite comfortable with that part, right? I knew where I wanted to be. What I wasn't comfortable with doing is going and looking up those numbers. But I made myself do it, even though I tried to backpedal my way out of the session. She didn't know that, but I was going to try to get myself out of the session. And I looked up those numbers. And it was incredible that I discovered through that process that my business wasn't dying. In fact, I was doing 12% better than I had the year before. So I was shocked. I was shocked literally at the power of the story that I had been telling for months. But more than that, I was shocked that I had allowed myself to get there. And uh, later in that day when I had my session with Kornelia, she pointed out some very obvious things like, how are you going to get where you want to go if you don't know where you want to go? How are you going to get there if you don't have the goals written out, if you don't have it set up so that you know where you are and where you're going to go? Totally makes sense, right? And I had been in business, somebody else's business, as a sales manager for years, and I was a national sales manager. I had awards for sales management. I had business awards because of numbers. And yet when it came to doing my own business, I totally forgot all that I'd ever learned. So by the time Kornelia, working with me in just one session, got me to look deeper at the numbers and where did I want to go, and actually, claiming where I wanted to go, I was filled with a sense of optimism and hope like you can't believe. It was like everything shifted for me. And I am so looking forward to our continued sessions to see how far I can really push myself to get where I've only dreamed of being, where I've never taken the dream and actually brought it into concrete existence. So thank you, Kornelia, for the work that you're doing out there. I appreciate it, and I can't wait to see where I go from here.